everyone. Welcome to Legal Limelight. Today we have Bree Vculek here, who is a patent scientist at Davis Wright Tremaine. We've been in touch through LinkedIn. I love all her posts, and we haven't even had a full conversation yet. So this is literally going to be the way that we first meet, which is awesome. Hey, Bree. Hey, girl. Bringing you up right now. Hello, Mary. Hi, Carly. Good to see you. Hey guys, my kindness calendar. Bree.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fabulous, thank you. How are you
I
doing
realized
today?
that I had my headset. So I have to redo your introduction just in case. Okay, so this is
Okay.
Bree Vculek. She is a patent scientist at Davis Wright Tremaine. She is also a legal influencer on LinkedIn, really posting amazing content and building a community online. And and also a part-time law student. And I'm really excited to chat today because this is the first time we're actually meeting.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Francesca. I'm really excited to get to
I
meet you
know, right?
in
This is
real
this is our
time.
new like real meeting. So
Uh-huh.
tell us a
Exactly.
little bit about yourself. I had no idea whether you were an attorney or a law student. I just knew that I loved energy and messaging that you were putting out. So I wrote to you to have you come on the show. So why don't you tell everyone like just a little bit about you and your background?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm super excited to be here, and I think you covered a lot of the professional aspects in the intro, but I am graduating law school in about 2 months now, so I'm really looking forward to that. I have attended part-time in the evening, so this is my fourth and final year. It kind of feels like 84 years as we've kind of navigated through the pandemic and all of that fun stuff. But I went to law school with the idea of potentially doing patent law, specifically interested in intellectual property. So a couple years in, I affirmed that interest and then started working as a patent scientist, like you mentioned, which is essentially someone that's able to support patent agents that are patent barred or patent attorneys that are patent barred as well as state barred. So I do a lot of patent drafting and prosecuting with the USPTO, and it's been excellent. I guess I'll say also my technical background, if you will, is in biotechnology and chemistry. I have a very, I think, burning passion for agricultural technology, and also work in the artificial intelligence space. So I'm hoping that like somewhere in the convergence of all of those is really where my
Wow,
career trajectory will take
that's
me.
awesome. And I'm an IP lawyer. I never heard of it. Um,
Mhm.
Maybe because I'm a trade attorney, so we have trademark specialists or paralegals. Cool. What's the difference between
Mhm.
a paralegal and a specialist versus a patent scientist?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the primary difference is a patent scientist, or they sometimes call them technical specialists, do have some form of technical degree. And what that means is something typically in STEM, so science, technology, engineering, or math. And so in that respect, we're able to advise clients as it pertains to their actual technical aspect of the invention, in contrast to maybe a paralegal who provides incredibly valuable support, but it might be more administrative type stuff. But there is certainly a lot of interaction and
Okay, so what's
collaboration
the
between
difference
all
between
of
a
us.
patent scientist and a patent lawyer?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a patent scientist is someone that is not licensed to, one, practice law, or two, even practice in front of the USPTO. So something that's a bit unique in patent law that I only learned after starting law school, but you don't actually have to be an attorney to practice patent law in front of the USPTO. So you can take a separate bar called the patent bar. And so that allows you then to prosecute with the USPTO, and that just means going back and forth with the government in order to grant your client a license or patent rather. So I'm basically someone who hasn't taken either of the bars
Oh my
yet,
gosh.
but it's certainly on the
Yeah.
horizon.
And I'm really excited because when I look for my counsel, I try to find women. I try to work with diverse attorneys, and over the patent realm, it's a little bit of a challenge, but not anymore. You're here, and do you feel that there are more women who are entering this space, or are you gonna just motivate everyone to now?
Yeah, no, I thank you so much for recognizing that. And I would obviously love the opportunity to work together professionally in the future. But in terms of women in the patent space, I think that it is trending upward slightly. It's plateaued a little bit. I know in the life sciences, so like biotechnology and chemistry, there are more women than, say, for example, in electrical engineering or even artificial intelligence, which is what I'm in right now. And especially racially diverse women, it's very lacking. So I have, as I've kind of really started to enjoy this career and found a lot of passion therein, try to use part of my platform just to educate and let people know that this is an opportunity, because I've found not only for myself, but so many others, they kind of just fall into this career path. And I think if it's perhaps a little bit more shared with others and available, then they might consider
What do you love?
pursuing
What do
it.
you
At
love
least
about
that's the
it?
goal. Yeah, absolutely. So I think my favorite is that I'm really at the intersection of science, business, and law. And so it's just really exciting for me. It's a lot of intellectual gymnastics, but I get to use my technical degree and, kind of be a scientist, but also then have like the legal influence. And then I know what you're very familiar with as well, Francesca, is like the business aspect. And that's something that I'm really excited to learn more about. And so yeah, I think it just keeps kind of my multi-potentialite, very interesting brain, really
I
excited.
love
So
that
that's
you
what I've
just said
enjoyed
that,
thus
because
far.
I say that I love IP because it's the intersection of business, creativity, and law. But so you took the science spin behind it. And I read an article the other day about how, it was like an opinion piece about how like the liberal arts degrees are dying and everyone's pushing STEM, especially younger for and women. So it'll be
Mm.
interesting, and hopefully we can keep advocating for more. I think it really comes down to just seeing people who look like you in roles.
Mm.
Elle Woods, I know like people like laugh and think it's like, oh yeah, like a character, but like she literally inspired a lot of, and to, I mean,
Right.
either to go to law school, and I mean Reese, she's not a real person, but Reese Witherspoon and her character, I really think that she inspired a lot of women, and to embrace their femininity in a that
Mm.
is very, you know, monochrome and traditionally stiff, and that's like something that I'm all about. I'm a female business owner and a female attorney, and that has to be reflected in how I operate. So rather than like hide the fact that I'm a
Mhm.
woman, I really embrace it and accentuate it. So I do think where I'm going with this is, I think by you being out there and so public and talking about your experiences, you make other women who are younger, or or who are interested in entering this field, doesn't matter how old you are, that this is a possibility.
Mhm.
And so, like, it's awesome. You have to keep going.
Yeah, well, thank you. And thank you for all that you do as well. I really feel empowered and inspired every time that I get to interact with your content as well. And I think you make such incredible points that until it's accessible, or people, have a point of reference, then I think it really kind of allows people to shape their careers. And I didn't mention this, but I grew up in very rural North Dakota. And so that is also a passion of mine as it pertains to sharing various different career paths with those who are from rural America, because I think oftentimes we aren't exposed to all of the diversity of career paths. And so that's something that maybe along the lines I'd like to do a little bit more outreach
your journey
in
is
that
just
area
beginning.
as well.
Also, this is like a fun fact. Like I used the internet to create my business. And that's what you'll be doing, especially as you enter the legal market. You've built a community, but that's a community of people who know, like, and trust you, that will hire you. They're going to refer you. It's not, it's not this weird space where you just go on and buy, lipsticks or clothes, or you literally can find your lawyer. So I'm really excited to watch your content evolve as you use it more as like a marketing tool. And yeah, I'm here to support you. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And I'd love also if you could just share a little bit more about your journey and like networking and the marketing aspect, because I really do think, Francesca, you're like, one of those, like, it's almost like the wild, wild west out there a little bit in terms of just the new way of marketing. And I think I'm so inspired by it. And I know, sometimes we get pushback or criticism as attorneys because it is a little bit unique and non-traditional. But I would love, if you don't mind just sharing a little tidbit about kind of what drove you and kind of what results you've seen.
We're
I think
in a tech world. COVID just catapulted everyone and cut, the 5 to 10 years time that it would have taken to get here, but it really catapulted us to adopting technology, adopting social media, because and everyone was stuck at the fact that everyone was stuck at home really made people cling to their phones even more. We were desperate for a human interaction and connections. So it coincided with a point in my life where I left a big law firm, and I had no choice but to reach out to my network. But I basically did it as a way to just get my name out there and reconnect with people. And I think when you do it in a really authentic way, like I use it as an expression of myself. And I think it's really fun as we're talking, like one of my clients. Hey, James and Mikey, he wrote, "We love and appreciate you, Francesca. She truly knows how to get it done. Grateful client." It's super sweet. Thank you, guys. Yeah, no, and it's like that. And I didn't meet them online, right? Like I met them at my old firm, but we always continue to like follow each other on our accounts. So I just think that this is the modern world, and where Francesca goes, we go. Yeah, you just have to you have to keep your finger on the pulse. You have to meet your clients where they are, especially if you really want to build a successful practice. I believe that you have to have a team. You have to be front facing to your clients, which means being relevant and staying on top of trends that are relevant for clients. And it's just so obvious to me that the internet, I mean, it's here, social media is here, it's not going anywhere. So for any lawyers who are like thinking about it or not sure, I mean, you're late to the game, but it's not too late. Okay, the time is now, and you can definitely get on and build a brand, like just exactly like you're doing, Bree. It's been really cool to watch.
Yeah, well, thank you. I really appreciate that sentiment. And I mean, at the end of the day, like if it weren't for social media or the internet, we wouldn't be talking today. And I find it so empowering and exciting about all the just different opportunities that are literally at our fingertips. And we get to make decisions each and every day as to whether or not we put ourselves out there and pursue them. And I think that, that's really exciting. And I know you've spoken about criticism before as well, but every time, those maybe derogatory messages come our way or whatever, I just remind myself, that's a small percentage of all of the conversations that we have. And at the end of the day, the big picture is
Goggins is
for me. So that's why I'm here.
Okay.
I don't think so.
He's this like hardcore ex-Navy. Well, he's a Navy SEAL. He's not an ex-Navy SEAL. He's a Navy SEAL. And, he went through like a very traumatic childhood. He had a lot of hardship. and he talks about like criticism, failure, and how he takes it and turns it, he uses it as energy. And so I came up with this concept, like I call it like making diamonds, like taking coal and like you have to find those, you have to take the hard times, whether that's criticism or getting fired or, you know, whatever failure or criticism or bad thing that comes your way, there's always a meaning in it. There's always something to learn, whether it was a lesson. You know, try to look, I always say, like, look at them neutral, and you should be able to pull out, even if it's this one little thing that's a gem in there that you've learned, then that was all worth it. It's always worth it. So for me, I live for it. Like, I'm like, okay, bring it on, let's go. You want to make comments, like, fine. I just block and delete, but it me that, like, I created an emotion in someone, and for them to, you know, not be happy about something, like, that's not my problem. They're not up here doing what I'm doing, you know. There's so many people who just sit back and are happy to make comments, but it's really all of the energy that has been put out to try to put people in a box or criticize them. I really think about, like, wow, what if that person took that energy and did that themselves? Like, they could be living the life of their dreams. So I don't like I don't wish it happened, but when it does, I'm always like, okay, you know what, I'm getting attention, I'm moving in the right direction. That's just the nature of the game. And especially as you grow and get bigger, it's part of the game, but you never let it bring you down. You can't let it affect you. And I use it as fuel. It, like, energizes me.
Good. Yeah, I think that's really inspiring. I often, think about when I'm frustrated about something, it's a fuel. What can you do about it? And how can you, take what you've learned? And maybe even, you know, sometimes I'd like to start a practice, like if someone's being what I would consider mean or toxic to me, and I just, delete and block. But then I decide, okay, let's flip this 180 and, like, let me go encourage someone else today, because, like, you know, that's kind of what I would like. And so I pass it along, and it's just like a positive.
Do you want to say
that, I think
that I would say, like, that it's such a minority, and as you bigger and grow, like, if you have a bigger platform, you know, it's all relative, right? Like, look at celebrities, what they have to go through. But it is really a minority. I would say a majority has been, and that's what kept me going, you know, which is crazy. Like I'm not the same person I was 2 to 3 years ago, but you know, 3 years ago, it could have taken one mean comment that could have stopped me. But guess what? It was multiple in-house counsel, multiple, you know, GCs or former lawyers I worked with that were like, Francesca, this is good. Like, keep it up going, and they still do it. So I'm sure you get the same thing too, the same encouragement.
Yeah, absolutely. And always grateful for that. And I'm excited also when other people are, you know, trying it as well, putting themselves out there. So I try to be a support system for them as well, if I can. So I could spend all day, like, on LinkedIn, just, like, cheering on people, but obviously that wouldn't be feasible.
So that's a good question. How do you find time? How do you balance it?
Yeah, that is a great question. So I guess I find, like, little pockets of time. I have a dog. You can probably see him sleeping back there, but every time we're out walking or something like that and he's sniffing, or we're at the dog park or whatever, it's perfect timing for me to jump on LinkedIn. That's where I come up with a lot of my posts. And now, I don't know if you had it, I know LinkedIn's been, like, rolling it out, but there's, like, a scheduling feature. And so I've been able to just, like, write, you know, 5 or 6 posts and schedule them, and then boom, 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 they'll just go out. Yeah, I love that. So trying to find, like, efficiency, but Also, if, for example, I'm in class a couple minutes early, no one's there, I just find like little pockets of time, and I don't find that it really interrupts like my workflow as I'm, drafting patents or different things like that. So yeah, sometimes of course it's like late at night or early in the morning, but it's certainly a sacrifice and a priority for
Yeah,
me.
it
So
really
I
is.
make time
It's
for
going to
it.
pay off. I like these two because it's live, but it's also good because we get to talk and people get the benefit of our conversation. Um, I think you are at
Hmm.
this awesome point where you've built your brand. You built your brand, you built a platform, you built a community, and now you're just going to accentuate that and continue. And it's different from like other businesses or influencers, who are using posts to
Yeah.
make money. That's not going to be it, but it all will feed back to whatever it is that you decide to do. So if you hopefully you end up going to a firm where they're going to encourage you to bring business, because I think with your your personality and just the way you think, like you're business minded too, that clients will love that. And
Hmm.
then you can kind of take this is like basically what I do is more of a like a practical attorney, and I will coordinate with other lawyers um to do more of the substantive legal work. Now I'm more ahead of you in my career, but I think that you would be really good at that, like eventually, and you're going to use your platform to build your business.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I think it's so cool. Like I feel like I'm so lucky being behind people like you because like y'all are trailblazing and I'm picking up, things here or there while also kind of making my own path. And so I feel like I'm really lucky to, yeah, be connected with people like you. So yeah, really, really do appreciate that. And I was also curious, like, how do you balance? I know you're running your firm, you have children, I see you're exercising. Like, let us
Oh,
in. I
I
want to
have
know
like the
more.
hardcore Francesca, and then the all right. I will say that I am obsessed with being efficient. Like, and for
Hmm.
me, I'm a morning person. I get up, I'm up at 4, okay?
Hmm.
But I go to bed early. Some people
Sure.
wake up, at a decent hour, like 6 o'clock, but then they work late. And whatever works for
Hmm.
you, but I'm sharing what for me. Um,
Yeah.
I do have kids, so rather than wake up to screaming children that need attention immediately, rather than giving attention, I wake up and I can give my mind and my body and my clients that attention. So I meditate, then I get on the computer and I get as much as I can done to get done. Then when the kids leave, when we put them to daycare, I work out, and then I pick back up on work. But that's kind of how
Hmm.
I do it. And now I have someone on social media. I have a social media manager who helps, but um, a lot of the LinkedIn posts are still me when I'm just like in it. Like I just got off the really big important call with a client and we had a breakthrough and I want to share, I share details. I'll just share general, information and practice stuff. So that's how I sneak it in. And I don't post about that a lot just because I know it makes some people feel uncomfortable, but like fast.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's what I wanted to know. I'm eager to know, and I think it's important. I mean, I know I get judgments, and sometimes people will say, don't do so much or whatever. But I think both of us can relate that that's like fuel for us and exciting, and it's a choice for the most part. I mean, I obviously work for someone else, but yeah. So I think it's inspiring, and then it makes other people who are in the same situation or maybe have the same goals,
Yeah,
feel less alone. So
no,
I,
it's
I
true.
appreciate
And
you
like
sharing.
I always like I don't want to be average. Like why would you want to be average? So how do you
Right.
not be average? You work later or you get up earlier and work earlier. So doing extra,
Yeah.
being extra.
Yes. Yes. Oh, wonderful. And I meant to ask, you're like in the New York City area, is that right? Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well, if you ever come to Washington, D.C.,
Oh,
that's where
we'll
I'm
get lunch
at and
for
would love
sure. I would
to,
love to meet
yeah.
a real person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bree, thank you
Beautiful.
so much. And again, like, be efficient. We keep these short and we're gonna go back to work. Where can
Yeah.
everyone follow you? What's the best platform?
Yeah. Absolutely. So I definitely am partial to LinkedIn. So I'm Bree Schulich, and it's Vculek is my last name on LinkedIn. Instagram, of course, Bree the attorney, almost the attorney, but had to grab the handle first. And yeah, Instagram's maybe a bit more lighthearted humor, and I like to talk about more like nutrition and health stuff on Instagram. But yeah, either of those two platforms are where I hang out,
This
and
is
I'd be eager
awesome,
to
Bree.
connect
Thank
and
you so
collaborate.
much. I will check in with you soon. And thank you, everyone. We're here every Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. See you next week. Bye.
All right.